Unknown time later, echoes of the past scream from within the darkness. The whisper of a person bursts through a door in a blackened room. Snow falls profusely behind them, hiding everything in 2 inches worth of visibility before endless white. The shadows stormed the room, cracking a flare from beneath their cloak as they threw the light into the corner of the room, and with the other hand, in a single fluid movement, slammed the door. The shadow stops as the frigid air crystallizes their breath before they turn and look around the room. The air is filled with triumph as the shadow could feel their goal was near. They stopped and studied the room for a moment. The small office seemed like any other office during the 20th century, covered in synthetic wood and fake plants. The shadow sighs, letting their despise of the dullness for the era. With a sigh, the shadow moved on, sitting at the desk in the middle of the room. The air is quiet as the whisper drops a stone covered in runes next to the computer, and it springs to life. The screen explodes with activity, bathing the room in various colorful lights. With the ease of an expert, the shadow types quickly, looking for the forbidden knowledge they sought. The screen scrolls rapidly as the information is absorbed by the shadow before they suddenly slam a key to stop at the name of the desired file. The whisper sighed before allowing their excitement to boil over, and with a sudden vigor, they grabbed the mouse and hit play. Historical Vampiric Archive. Year, error, unknown. Current archivist, Thalian Thane. Last archivist year, error, unknown. Current activation, year, error, unknown. Subject, the fall of Atlantis. Description. It is said the fall of Atlantis brought with it the end of an era, and by all rights, it did. The resulting victory forced everyone to accept the Vampiric Accords, leading to the foundation of the formation of the 7 true immortals from the 7 major species. 3 deities and 4 mortal kings were chosen to hold the mantle as one final barrier to prevent the devastation of what happened at Atlantis from ever happening again. The Vampiric Accords forced peace among all species, requiring a formal consent from the 7 true immortals for another war to happen. The Accords held almost for 500 years. Black Squadron's deeds and actions led to a new breed of soldier born, a soldier founded in virtues by forcing its squadron members to face the worst and the best of the world. The soldiers had to accept that both sides are required to win wars, and by understanding that when the greater good is at play, this includes that one day even Black Rose may have to be put down. Their legend spreads further than ever before, and after hundreds of years, just like their deeds before Atlantis, they were lost to the records of time. The sounds of new lines of text, like a 1990s computer, echo around the room. The shadow almost lost their lunch as they read the next few lines. They pulled out a blunt and took a quick drag. Casualty reports are mixed, but the following is estimated. Casualty count, Atlanteans, estimated 9 million. The Vampiric Army, estimated 2.5 million. Total count, between 12 and 15 million actual. Slaves taken, 1.2 million of those taken, 678,912 were women or breeding-aged girls. Aldrea Flycatcher would retire to Castle Lotus and eagerly await her successor with hope for a real future, a future of her own making. Her and the Fey Queen Helena would never mend their relationship. Her final fate is lost to time. Elysian Blackrose would retire to the halls of Hale, rising in the ranks quickly before eventually killing and replacing an unknown lord of hell. His final fate is lost to time. Lyle Cromwell would devote his entire life to Blackrose. He would go on to found the Novarian Corps, an elite squadron of Beastmasters. His final fate is lost to time. Reynold Visitor would return from wherever it is he went, completely a different person, almost outright refusing to talk about what happened. His bond to Dragula and Blackrose grew deeper through the years. Again, his final fate is lost to time. Ilmaya and Eoway's fate are debated, as it is not known if these people even existed or possibly could. Nemed would rise into the role he was always supposed to be, forming a close bond with the one man his father despised, helping form a new community of Atlanteans in New Alexandria, where he would rule, and eventually found a way to free Nefertiti from her eternal torment. He died at the ripe old age of 1,354, having watched 4 generations of Atlanteans prosper under his rule. He is the last known king of Atlantis. What happened to the rest of the Atlanteans is not known. Markel would get her wish and become a vampire. Her fate is lost to time. Marlowe would go on to serve the next 4 Lotus Queens as their guiding right hand. Her fate is lost to time. Regina, the demon, would continue to help Azazel out of pure boredom. The fate of her child is not known. Her fate is, as well, lost to time. Brother Tobias Tukas would lose his life in the siege. His legacy would found the next generation of Blackrose Knights. There is an entire wing called the Tukas Library in Blackrose's castle dedicated to the feats of this legendary mentor. He died at the age of 25,357. Leslie Firespell Blackrose would continue to annoy everyone with her tabloids, but the horrors of what she witnessed at the War for Atlantis changed her view of the world completely. She can be found with her father in Castle Blackrose. Baku is said to be a fantasy made up by Samut to justify his actions. The existence of a man is highly disputed. Samut had the full backing of all but one god. Despite the setback, Samut's relationships would grow deeper. The events of Atlantis proved Samut was the only one capable of keeping up with the Child King, and that long-term planning would be the only way to win. Blackrose and Nieta forced the gods and man to agree on the final barrier that would be needed to prevent war. The barrier is known as the Vampiric Accords. The Vampiric Accords details how war cannot come without the majority vote of man and gods, 3-1 and 2-1 respectively, to wage any form of war. Blackrose and the gods together picked the 7 true immortals, casting the last of the ancient spells to do so. The 7 true immortals would only be called on twice during the Vampiric Accords. Blackrose and Nieta's fates are unknown, as they too have been lost to time. Conclusion: None. Debate rages on the validity of these reports. However, references are to follow. Vampiric Scriptures 9,571 through 68,471. Tucas Archives Files 52,945 through 657,879. Order of the Delphine Reports 12.37 and 12.9. Firespell Tablets 479 through 5,681. Elven Written Archive Years 12,578 through 12,453. Accepted by Vampiric Kingdom, Pantheon with the Gods, Fae Community, Zombie Kingdoms, Were Animal Tribes, SK Confederation. The Shadow looks over the final lines of the information gluttonously. The air was soft and started to settle as they instinctively reread everything again. The darkness and storm stopped any ability to tell time. The Shadow leans back, slowly, finally, looking up for a second. The sharpness of their movements as they eyed the door as if hearing something, like an animal stuck in the headlights or a fainting predator. They eyed the door as if whoever made the mistake of opening the door would find out. The wind caught the door and shook it. The room seemed to rock for a few seconds as the Shadow eyed the strange room before the storm deafened once again set in. The air settled once more as the Shadow sat eyes glued on the door for longer than necessary. The cacophony of silence that was the storm was almost lost at a maddening level before they clicked on the next file. Infernal Bound. Thank you for listening to this series, The Eternal Cycle Origins, Season 3. The following are played. Elusian Blackrose is played by Rosgrees. Ray Visitor, Ilmaik, is played by Skyflash. Aldrea Flycatcher is played by Statigar, and everyone else can be played by Cosmic the Storyteller. The Eternal Cycle will indeed return with The Eternal Cycle Infernal Bound. I want to thank you for being here. The book is now out, and I want you to have an absolutely wonderful rest of your night. Bye.